Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is if you have your sun in Capricorn and your moon in Taurus. So we're talking about double earth. Wow, what does that represent? The earth element, and that also includes the sign of Virgo, is the element that deals with things of this material plane, or this planet, or this 3D experience. So we're talking about the body, the five senses. We're talking about money and other possessions. Even something that you can't say is entirely tangible, like work and things like that, because it generates money, which has a tangible factor to it. It means that it can deal with that as well. All of the material concerns in life. And so people who have the sun and the moon and earth tend to be very good when it comes to those things. They tend to have an innate ability to go after those things, attract them to them. And that means that the material side of life will usually be guaranteed, because the sun can be your aspirations, so it can be the things that you desire, your goals, and the moon can be your security, your emotional needs. And the moon is exalted in Taurus, so this means that the moon is operating at a very high level when it's in Taurus. And one reason I think that the moon is well placed in Taurus is because if you think about emotions and our emotional nature, we would say that somebody who is emotionally stable is, that's the desirable state that we want to live in. Well, Taurus is a fixed sign, so that works perfectly well for that. And also, in terms of like material resources, a person who has the moon in Taurus is going to feel most safe when they know that they have money in the bank. Taurus rules the second house of earned income. So Taurus has a direct connection to money and possessions. All the earth signs have a connection to things of this world, but Taurus, it's specifically with money. And so there is, because the moon is intuitive, Taurus people can have like that very ingenious way of being able to know what financial decisions to make. I have this strong desire to say that this combination assures success in your professional life. And I think it's going to be by and large true, but I don't like to just make these blanket statements. The reason I think so is that Capricorn rules the 10th house of career. So people who are born under the sign of Capricorn tend to be ambitious. Even if they are in a place, a station in life where they have this really big mountain to climb. Capricorn is a mountain goat, so it's always, it's upwards and onward, right? But even if it's like a daunting challenge, that's just how Capricorns roll, is that they're trying to better themselves. They're trying to better their station in life. The 10th house that Capricorn rules deals with your status, your reputation in the world, your success. So it doesn't matter where you start from, you're just trying to go up, get higher and higher. And what keeps a person from attaining something higher or achieving success? A lot of times the emotions get in the way. Why do the emotions get in the way? Well, I would say that the majority of people experience trauma of one sort or another when they are young. Maybe trauma is a dramatic word, and maybe it's not that deep for everybody, but I think that a lot of people experience things that are serious enough that they can adversely affect them for their whole lives in some ways and kind of keep them from going after what they want. Capricorn, well, I'll just say this. Because this is double Earth, Earth is not emotional. Earth is rational. And, we use that expression down to earth because of this, grounded, if you will. And when people are emotional, they are unhinged. They are irrational. They're not thinking straight. Because even if you are, I'm not really putting down emotions and saying that it's crazy to be emotional, but I am saying that emotions are simply reactions. They're not really inherently true. If you cry because something makes you sad, that's one thing. But if somebody becomes out of control emotionally, chances are it's because they are telling themselves a story about what a certain event means to them that isn't necessarily true. Because, we can experience difficult emotions without losing control. And I think that this combination is very well equipped to do just that. And that means that you are able to transcend those kinds of highly charged situations in life without losing it. And that makes it, so it gives you an ability to function at a higher level than some people might be able to. And if you are dealing with a lot of challenges, this can be even more impressive. And I think that it can really work in your favor. One of the nice things about this combination is you have the modalities of, in terms of Capricorn, cardinal modality, and Taurus is fixed. What that means is that it gives you that leadership ability, that ability to take action, initiate, which is the cardinal modality, along with persevering, which is the fixed modality. And one without the other might not really work. There are a lot of people who can start things, but they can't finish them. And I mean, you do have to look at other things in your chart, like Mars is a good one to look at and see what sign Mars is in. Since your sun happens to be in Capricorn, you might have Mars in Sagittarius, which is a mutable sign. Mutable signs are changeable, and it could mean that a person doesn't sustain their effort. They might kind of get bored and they might want to do something else and shift to new action. But the nice thing about a sign like Taurus is that it doesn't give up. That's why Taurus is known as being stubborn. All the fixed signs can have that part of their personality where they find it hard to stop doing something because whether it's a feeling that they have, a behavior that they're doing, because they get, you could say they get into a rut, but it's simply that they are very consistent and persistent. And so that's why I'm saying is that when you are able to initiate action and then you are consistent and persistent, you're more likely to achieve your goal than if you kind of flake out halfway through because you're just bored and you want to do something different. In relationships, this combination is, I would definitely call it more traditional and family oriented. And so it would not surprise me if such a person wanted to get married versus living with someone. One big reason for this is that with them, besides Capricorn being very traditional, being ruled by Saturn, and kind of like, there's a conservative quality with that, but also with the moon in Taurus, there can be a jealous nature, and such a person can be very possessive when it comes to how they feel about other people. Look to the Venus sign to really see how this plays out too, because perhaps the person has Venus in Sagittarius and they'll be more playful and freedom loving, and maybe not as completely possessive. I was going to say crazily possessive as a Taurus person may be. But I'm trying to think, yeah, you could have, if you have Venus in Scorpio, God help you, because then you have the moon in Taurus and Venus in Scorpio. Yikes. That can be quite intense. So anyway, the thing to remember is that just because you care for somebody doesn't mean that you own a person. And of course, if you are with somebody in a supposedly monogamous relationship, expecting their commitment to the relationship is, that's logical. But sometimes if a person is possessive, they don't want that other person to do things without them, or, to go out with friends without them being there, or things like that. And that can really put a damper on the relationship, because the other person may not feel like they are trusted. They may feel like they are smothered because the other person is just kind of like holding on to them like the ball and chain kind of thing. So pay attention to how you regard the people that you care about. This can even be with children, where a parent who has the moon in Taurus is very reluctant to let that child be independent. But I do feel that this combination is more likely than not to want to be coupled, especially because they want to have a family one day. And I think they can make a devoted partner for sure. There can be a tendency to be too materialistic. Now, Capricorn people are not known for being materialistic in the sense of being, too like free spending, buying too many expensive things and that the person doesn't need. So I wouldn't say it in that sense, but I'm talking about the mentality being geared around the material versus other values, like maybe, even in a worldly sense, like having experiences like travel and learning and things like that. Or if you say on the spiritual level, being able to see life at a higher level than just the material level, and the indulgence factor, and really wanting to develop one's soul more, and appreciating things that are intangible than just the tangible. But I do feel that with the moon in Taurus, that the person may have times when they do get a little bit indulgent because maybe they're trying to make themselves feel better emotionally. So comfort foods and retail shop, what do they call that? Retail therapy, when people shop and just to kind of lift their spirits. Those might be things that you do at times just to kind of feel more uplifted. And in terms of professions, I think that anything that involves structures, because Capricorn rules structures, can be right up your alley, especially if you have that ability to kind of ascend in that structure. So the first thing I thought of, I was going to say ascend in that corporate structure, because like a corporate environment is one of those types of things. But it could be in the government. It could be in a school system where you're in. I think if it was like in a school system, it would be an administrator versus not necessarily a teacher, but in administration, because Capricorn is an executive sign, so it can be a leader because of that. I think that healthcare could be another one, because again, Earth can connect to the body, and there can be this real innate understanding of how things work, because the body, that's a form, that's a structure. So, but especially with the skeletal system, so I would say like a chiropractor, a physical therapist in particular, but anything that deals with the bodily functions. And if we take this for those people at a more spiritual level, it could be like a yoga teacher, because you have to know the anatomy to be able to teach yoga. And even a massage therapist, I think, would be something that would be very a natural for this combination. And how could I even forget finances? I mean, you could say anything from an investment banker, but I would say like an accountant and like some sort of financial advisor. Anybody who works in a bank, even a teller, if that's what a person wants to do. But there's just, you might have like just a really good grasp of numbers and economics. So I think that in terms of personality, this type of person, they always say that Capricorns they have like a dry sense of humor, and I think that that's true. I don't think that Capricorns are boring. I think that they can be very droll. That's a great word. You have to look at the rising sign, because some people can really surprise you, and they can put up this great front. Like if you have like fire as the ascendant, you may seem more exciting than you truly are. And when I say more exciting than you are, I don't mean as opposed to being completely dull. I just mean that some people don't need to kind of be like extroverted and the life of the party in order to feel okay about themselves. Some people are more of the show off or the performer, that kind of thing. And that's fine. But people like you don't need to be, but you may feel compelled if you do have your rising sign in Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or even the air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You might just be very extroverted, outgoing, communicative, personable, especially when it comes to Libra, or entertaining when it comes to Gemini, witty, and, a natural comedian. And people think, wow, this person is so lively. And then when they get to know you, you're like this homebody, and you're kind of into yourself. You're not really that way at all. And I think as you get older, if you do have fire or air as the ascendant, you are going to kind of get more, and you're going to become more and more quiet, even outwardly, because you're going to grow more and more into your sun sign. And, Capricorns tend to be very serious, but they do say when Capricorns get older, they get younger. And so it might work out very nicely where you actually are less uptight, less trying to be the adult in the room and be overly serious. And you can let your hair down a little bit and not be so formal. So anyway, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.